Hey everybody, welcome back. I'm Grandpa Bud. We're playing Valheim. Excuse me, still fighting that cold. Let's jump back in and see what's going on. I've been playing a different world, as you can tell, and let's get back to Terra Conrad. So, while I was traveling last week, and I didn't have a computer that I could play on, so I started a new character on my underpowered laptop. And boy, what a difference it is coming back and seeing how wonderful my desktop looks compared to that laptop. But it got me to thinking we might want to rethink our strategy before we head too deep into the Black Forest. We might need some base defense. So I'm going to go with the simple moat. It's probably the easiest thing that we can do. And just create a gap so that when we get raided, our base doesn't get destroyed. So, not going to be very exciting this go around. We're going to just kind of take it easy and see what happens. I'm going to be a little bit lost as I try to adjust from that new world that I was playing to this one. Forget where everything is and what we're doing and all of that. Where is our storage? There we go. Keeping stacks of 50 together. Or 20 or 30, whatever the stack's max size is. So, kind of want to look at what we've got going here. We've got our beehives. And at one point, yeah, we've got a beginning of our pig pen. Looks like they're not tamed yet. Give them that food back. You guys eat that. Settle down. They're going to need some more food. And we'll probably be around long enough that they can get tamed while we're doing this. Alright, we got veggies on top, and they'll eat these, so let's throw 5 more in there. That'll give them 6 total. As long as they don't tear their way out of that, should be okay. We're going to include this pen inside the moat. So that's going to be, oh, that was not a very good idea. It's going to be a pretty good sized moat when we're done. A lot of digging and a lot of repairing of our pickaxe. So let's see, we'll just start here and we're going to make a square trench. Now that is not the pickaxe. Here we go. So a moat needs to be deep enough that they can't climb out of it, and that trolls can't climb out of it, and then about 2 meters wide. So how do we know what 2 meters is? Well, we can come here, we can grab our 2-meter pole, and it's about the wide width of one nice even trench. So nothing very exciting is going to happen today unless there's a raid that happens while we're digging this moat. Let's see. Would be real nice to know how far we need to go. We want to get out past our And that straight line is we're gonna have to curve to get around the pig pen. But for now, we want to come out to here. And then we'll take a sharp right. That'll leave us room to grow into this area if we need a bigger farm or something like that. And gonna drop a crafting table right here. So then I can put a stake in the ground. And when that stake falls down, I'll know I've gone far enough. And we'll take a right. Again, this is not going to be a very exciting live stream or recording. And we should remember to eat. And probably, let's see, do we have some good stamina food we could switch to? Yeah, I'm going to trade out that extra meat for 2 stamina foods, and that way we'll have better luck digging. And then as long as we're here, let's repair that pickaxe, even though it's not broken yet. We might as well take advantage of the fact that we're here. So the idea is that if we get invaded, get raided, especially by trolls, now that we've beaten Eikthyr, we'll get troll raids, and we'll get Greydwarf raids. And this will at least keep them out of our base. Later in the game, our base defenses may need to be more complex, but this should work for now. And then we just want to take a hard right or left. Let's jump up, see if we're headed in the right direction. I think we need to go a little to the right. Let's go this way a little bit, so we don't tear out that beehive. Probably misjudged that corner. It's not going to make a lot of difference. We just want the gap that prevents creatures from coming to the base. So since we're going against the kind of natural lay of the land, we don't get these nice straight walls. We get these jagged ones. Let's go back to the natural lay of the land. A little later, once we'll be able to build with stone, all these rocks will come in handy. That's close. We see our beehive right there. Hopefully we don't knock it in the trench. need some repairs. Let's just... Well, that was concerning. Got a great grayling up there, sounds like. Who wants our attention? Can we put... Yeah, right there. Just need to put a roof over it. This is just temporary, so we can repair the axe. Next time I'm just going to jump out. It's not worth the trouble. Oh, leave my beehive alone. Guess I'm going to have to jump up anyway. One thing I realized when I was traveling and playing on that laptop is there's a huge difference between when Eikthyr just called the animals against us for a raid. You got boars and neck, and we could certainly handle that without too much trouble. And now, if we get a raid with Greydwarfs, it's a lot more of a challenge. So this way we can just stand back with a bow and... Oh, did that too soon. I still want that for 1 second. Let's take these down. No need to leave them behind and waste that wood. And looks like we're gonna have to take a right. Let's make it a square, more of a square corner. Alright, gotta look. Oh yeah, we're well past. We can just go right about here. It's probably the simplest defense for base defense that we could have. Another alternative would be to raise ground with your hoe and build earthen walls, and that'll last. Earthen walls are indestructible until you get late in the game. Late in the game, that changes a little bit, but we'll get into that much later. But if you do earthen walls just by using your hoe and raise ground to create a wall, you can create a nice base defense that way. This is probably a little bit deeper than we have to have it, but it's not going to hurt anything. And for the most part, we'll be able to jump over this. But I think I might, just for fun, build a bridge over it anyway. Because we may need to bring in a cart later. And it's nice to have a bridge that you can come across and the monsters won't come across. You can drag your cart across it. Alright, let's see where we are and how much further we need to go. See, I need that extra stamina to get up there. Here we go. Get up there. Come on. There we go. Oh, perfect. I think if we take a sharp right, we can go right behind there, have room left over. See what a nice trench that makes? And we can just run along here and jump across. And if we get a raid, nobody's going to bother us. That is going to have to bend a little bit just to get around the pig pen. And we'll be expanding. We'll be building onto that house. It's going to get bigger. And we're going to have some farmland in here somewhere where we start planting crops eventually. You know, we've been picking up those carrot seeds in the Black Forest. And once we have the ability to plant those, we'll start growing crops. Should have repaired while I was up there. That's a pain. Alright, let's try it this way. Get that snap point at the top of the ladder. That wasn't very smart. Let's try that again. Now the second thing that we're going to have to do is once we have this trench all the way around, if there's a raid, creatures can still show up inside of the trench unless we put out fire pits, or we could just leave crafting tables down here in the pit, and those will discourage pawns within a 20-meter radius. And you know it's a 20-meter radius just by bringing your hammer out, and you can see the circle that you're allowed to build in from the workbench. Maybe we'll just put workbenches in the bottom of here. Though I kind of like, we'll have plenty of rock, and the fires don't have to be lit, so we can just make a fire and let it burn out, and that'll still serve the same purpose. And the idea is we don't want creatures spawning inside of our safe zone, which is created by this moat. Alright. Let me see. Let's do 6, 7 so that we can get a little more stamina. No, it won't let us eat yet. Oh no, I meant to do 5, 6. Wasted that because it wasn't necessary yet. Alright, we want to go a little further. Out to here, I think. Let's see. I eyeballed that last time and I didn't do a good job of it. The Meadows is so nice and peaceful. Black Forest is a lot more intimidating sounding. Not necessarily intimidating itself, but oh, we're out of wood, so that's not going to work. Anyway, we'll stop here for the night. Let's go rest up and get our rested bonus back. Repair, get some sleep, and start again in the morning. As soon as we get our copper going, which is the mineral we're going to take out of the Black Forest, or resource. Once we get that going, we're going to expand the size of this house a little bit, because it's going to start to get too crowded with the new workbenches. We'll get into that once we get some copper. Do we have wood around? If we do, where did I put it? No, we don't. I don't want to go chop down trees just for that, so... If I do this right, that should fall in our hole when it's time to turn. I think. Oh, it might be a little off. Let's see what happens. We can also keep an eye on that birch tree. Once we get to that birch tree, we've gone too far. Collecting a little bit of rock. Oh, we're down to water level. You can see we're standing in a puddle of water now. See if I can go up a little bit. I don't really want... I guess it doesn't hurt anything. There's the workbench, so we'll go just past the workbench and we'll take a left. One more. And there it is. There's the resin we dropped. So let's take a left and let's try to head straight that way. We've filled up on all the rock we can carry. Let's put some rock piles. Let's put them right over here. So we can make those stacks of 50. Just like that. And we don't have to carry around all that rock. And then once we start building with stone, we'll be able to use those. And we'll be glad we have them. one of the drawbacks and why we want to add a bridge is that if we find a boar we want to bring in and tame, there's no way to get across the moat. So hopefully we can build a bridge that'll take care of that for us. And what's that? I don't think I wanted to see that. Oh, that was an old building. But are we on the right track? No, we're headed right for the pig pen. So we're going to have to take a right and head that way a little bit. And we should have repaired while we were up here. While I'm thinking about it, if we look out at the pig pen, one of them's taming. I don't know what happened about the other one. Oh, he's tamed. So we have one tame and we have one taming. That's great. We got our boars back, which were killed in the first raid we had. Yeah, this is a little bit close. So that's what? Maybe 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. A troll with a log in its hand may be able to reach our building. So when we expand on this floor plan, we're going to want to expand in this direction because we don't want to be within reach of the troll. All right, down we go. So a troll's reach is around 8 meters, I think, is the general guidelines for staying clear of him. All right, let's pop up top and see where we are. If we go straight that way, I think we need to go a couple more before we make our turn. The other thing about a Greydwarf raid is those shaman will come in and they'll poison your livestock with that poison breath that they do. I've lost my entire pig farm to a shaman before. I've also lost a whole set of crops that way. Alright, that should be far enough. Let's take a left again. This moat is not going to be pretty, it's just going to be functional. Well, the nice thing is it doesn't disrupt the the landscape view, the view of the land around, however you want to say that, the scenery, whatever. It doesn't hide it like a wall would. Alright, let's pop up and see. Oh, there's our other boar's been tamed. That's perfect. Let's pop up here and see where we are. Alright, we need to go to, I'd say to here. So let's do that trick with the resin again. Right about here. Oh, well, we got this rock here. Oh, that's more than enough. Let's do the resin. Okay. We'll throw that resin out again. So if we get to there, that'll be just about right to take another left. And then we'll come down and jog over to meet up with that one. So once that resin falls down, we'll know to turn. And we're going to have to repair before then anyway. So I think after this, we'll go back to the raft, head over to that black forest, make a temporary home in that tower, and try to get back some ore. It'd also be... Oh, there we go. There's our resin. Let's go repair. Might as well get a rested buff while we're here. Even though we got 10 minutes left, let's just refresh it. Only takes about 30 seconds. There we go. Back to 15 minutes again. And we'll take a left right here. Try to get a little bit deeper. Not necessary, we're deep enough, but... Oh, we're close to that gate. I thought we had more room than that. Well, I wanted to redo that pin anyway. We threw it together so quick last time. Alright, where are we? Oh, we need to rest. Get some stamina back. Maybe eat some honey. And let's pop up here and see where we are. Oh, we're so close. I think we're a little deeper than when we started. I think I'll go ahead and deepen this trench. So the next thing we're going to do is drop some fireplaces. That is not at all what I meant. We're going to gather some wood so that we can have fires. Those fires will keep the fire ring, whether there's a fire burning or not, will keep anything from spawning within 20 feet of it. That way we make sure nothing spawns inside of our house. I can't wait to cut this tree down. Get all that fine wood. Not sure why, but I like clearing out these logs that are just lying around. They don't give us as much wood as a tree would, a real, you know, but it works. And these tree stumps and the scrub trees, I like clearing those out so I can see. And not have the view obstructed. Okay, looks like we must have a full load. Let's come over here. We can jump. Just about. And then as our jump improves, that'll get easier and easier. So let's come here to the corner, right by that. And let's put a fire down. So if we switch to, say, building, we can see the ring created by the workbench. Now this ring that we're looking at, that's the workbench inside of the house, not this workbench, because if we cross this, now there's the ring from that workbench. And that shows us the extent of the non-spawn. And what we want is to make sure that nothing spawns within the area that we're in. Within our safe area, with inside of the moat. That's what I'm trying to say. I'm not used, as you can tell, to talking while I'm playing games, so I tend to have very broken up speech pattern. So by doing that around those corners, we should guarantee that nothing spawns within our safe zone. Let's call it the safe zone. All of those fires probably weren't necessary, but it makes sure we've got it covered. Oh, we got 2 honey. Let's get it. Let's pick it up. We're lucky to have so many. I think I got further last week on my new roll than we've gotten, but I only had 2 beehives, and I really missed having all that extra honey. Comes in handy, especially once we start cooking recipes where we actually use the honey to make better foods. Give us more stamina, more health. Well, let's go to sleep, and then let's go look at sailing back to the Black Forest. I've been trying to recall what it was that we wanted to have inside of that base that we were building over there that we didn't have. We didn't have enough wood, and then it was nighttime, and we were going to be raided. Well, we did get raided. And we didn't have the ability to repair. And we needed repairs. So the first thing we want to do is go back to where we were and get that wood. Also want to look at rebuilding this pig pen. I'm not sure that's my highest priority, but I do want to be able to see when we get little piggies in here that we need to repair. We didn't do that. So the little piggies tend to get lost in the grass, so I want to do this so I know where the little piggies are. It's just easier to see them that way. Oh, there's our first little piggy. Right there. It's not our first. We had some before. First for the new batch. And then we want to build that, once we get some more wood, we'll want to build that bridge. Where were we chopping wood? Over there. I can see the glow, and I can see Mr. Grayling, who wanted to come say hi. Hi neighbor, you're for dinner. Alright, let's move up here. See if we can get any chain reactions with a tree falling on another tree. Save us from cutting down one or two trees. Oh, I saw this on a video, and if you do that special attack, it takes those out a lot faster. Good old YouTube. Oh, well, we got too much weight. Let's see, what do we want to drop? Well, we're coming right back here. Let's drop this wood. Which direction? So that's the direction where we dock the boat, and that's probably where we'll be docking most of our boats. Which means when we bring oars back, we're going to want to bring it across. This is probably a good place to have our bridge. So let's look at building a simple bridge here for now. I'm going to bring it back a little bit away from the edge. Now let's go here. I don't know where to place these steps on this side, so we're gonna get those measurements this way. So now our steps are where we want them. Let's make that snap to the top. Alright, now to make sure that no creatures come across, we'll do that. And then if we need to, we can drop that floor in and bring across the cart. Eventually we'll create a excuse me, Eventually we'll create a path down there to the dock. Maybe move the dock where it's a little closer. Let's get rid of that rock we're carrying around because we really don't need that yet. We do one. We got one here. So if there's a raid, we can just stand back here and shoot at them like that. And when they show up, we don't have to worry about them. Alright, let's gather up some more wood. We could use more coal. We felled that tree over here. Yes. Still haven't repaired that. Gotta remember to do that. That deer's just standing there, ignoring the fact that we're chopping down trees. I guess he wanted to join us for dinner. We'll put him to work. Wouldn't mind getting a chain reaction, especially if it fell on. Well, that's not what I intended. That's it. Especially if we could get a chained reaction on some of these birch trees. A little patch of black forest. I guess we knew that was there. I'm having a hard time remembering where we were. That's the danger in playing too many different worlds. You forget where they are. Let's see if we can do this. So using the mouse wheel click gets rid of those stumps a lot faster. Well, it feels faster. I don't know if it actually is. Guess we're full up on... Oh wait, that's the one we dropped earlier. So since we dropped it, auto pickup won't pick it up for a certain amount of time. I don't know what that time is. Eventually you'll come back and auto pickup would pick it up. And again, once we can start planning things, we'll be able to replant some of these trees we're chopping down. So we'll take this area closest to the house and use it for tree forest. All right. Put 50 in there. Let's put 25 in here because we're going to need it. Believe it or not, we'll go through all that charcoal and more. Let's go ahead and keep chopping. The Black Forest does start to get, and especially copper. Copper's a very, very grindy. That's not nice. We can't get to it. So I guess we'll cut down this tree and hope it doesn't fall on us. Let's stand right here so that if it falls on us, it hits that tree. Ouch. Look at that. That took out a huge amount of damage. I'm going to try this. I don't know that it'll work, but I think we're in the right spot where we might be able to get that fine wood with the old door trick. Now, there's a lot of greylings. I think chopping down trees just brings these greylings out of the woodwork. That ought to work, because it'll roll that way and then it'll roll back. So let's roll it. Let's roll it up here. Let's put down a crafting table. And then let's put a door right here. And see if we can shove that into that tree enough times to break it. I don't see any numbers coming up. Only numbers I see is it's breaking our door. I think it's hitting that rock before it hits the tree. And it won't break against the rock. Weird, I thought I saw something come up behind me. I'm seeing things. Okay, here we go. Yep. Try again. Now it's not hitting the tree stump, so I'm going to try to move it so we can hit the tree stump. Got to get rid of that log. That's not how you do it. This is how we do it. Now it'll hit that log. Eventually that log is going to break. There we go. We got some new fine wood. So let's move the door. We probably aren't going to need our rested buff for this. Let's see if we can get it right there. Maybe that'll work. Nope. When we see those numbers come up, we know we're doing damage. Door's not in the right place. I'm never sure if this is worth the effort. I think it's kind of... But it would be nice to be able to have some portals. Oh, we got it. So if we could get enough fine wood that we can make portals, that would really be helpful. Since we have to boat back and forth, we could just jump back and forth as we need to and use the boat for hauling back the ore. I'm not sure I'm getting both of them. There we go. Is that it? Everything we cut down? Take that with us. I think it's getting close to dark, plus it's raining on us and we need our rested buff, so let's go jump the trench. Ah, that was brilliant. Yeah, that'll teach you to jump when you have no stamina. We had just enough stamina to get off the ground, not enough to make it across. Oh my gosh. Now we got to be careful that we don't die when we... Wait a minute, where's our bridge? This way. When we jump in to get our corpse. Didn't eat any food. Gonna try to slide down the side. There, we didn't take nearly as much damage. And there's our body. You don't often get back to your corpse in time to see that. Well, that was a treat. So, I think that's at least our second death. Probably better get dressed. Let's go repair, and then let's grab the raft and head for the hills. The Black Forest, that is. Eat food. Gonna switch back to a higher protein diet so that when we get to the Black Forest, we've got more health instead of more stamina. Things might be a little harder to deal with from the stamina side, but that extra health will come in handy. How are we dividing that up? I thought we were doing stacks of 50, but looks like it's just veggies and meat. So let's put our extra meat in. And Is that it for storage? Do we have some storage? Fine wood. There we go. Well, we got enough for 1/2 of the portal. Meaning we can make one portal, but we can't make the other end of it. So we have to have 2 of these portals right here. One on each end, and then we can transport and save ourselves the travel time. You know, I don't think it would hurt to have a little stone. We don't need the charcoal. We don't need the, we certainly don't need the seeds. But let's take our wood so that we can put a roof on that tower in the Black Forest. I don't want to travel the sea in a storm. That is really not a great idea. You have really rough waters. But let's stick another 25 in to burn the charcoal. Let's put our charcoal in here. And it's nighttime, so we'll wake up in the morning and head for the Black Forest. Yes, we're wet, but we're drying quickly. Hope the rain stopped by the time we wake up. The pigs are excited. I think there's a... Oh, the wrong direction. I think there must be a grayling over this way. I would think these fires would be enough to keep most graylings away. No, I don't see anything. But he's sure excited. See that? Where's the other one? There's the piglet. Did he escape? I thought for sure we had 2. We got a pig and a piglet. There should be another pig around. Alright, while we have the wood and the time, let's try to fix this up a little bit. First, let's level the ground a little bit around us. And let's set out this pin in a little different layout. Actually, I don't want it that close to the trench. Didn't repair. I gotta remember, we can't go anywhere before we repair. So maybe we'll turn right about here. So let's square this up a little bit. It's a lot bigger than we need. But it'll let us have more pigs. Pigs are limited by the number of pigs in a 10-foot by 10-foot area. So after we get, I think, 5 within the 10-foot by 10-foot area, they quit reproducing. If we have a bigger pen, then we can get past that limitation. Only by having a larger area. And I really can't understand where that pig went. No, you don't. Don't even try to go out. We can get rid of this portion. Good, nothing fell down there. Let's turn the corner right here. And that's right where I want to be. Wish you weren't standing there. But if we're coming across right there, it's going to be more like there, and there. There we go. Now we can get rid of this inside pin. But I can't believe a pig got away from us. That's just bizarre. Okay, now, so what we need to do, we need to put a door in. Possibly our piglet grew up. He's full-size pig now. I'm so proud. Wonder if we can get in and out of that. Sure. Okay, so we'll make the chute. Usually 2 is enough for the chute. And put another door on it. There we go. So we can lure a pig in here and close the door, and then let him into the full-size pen. I have no idea where that pig could have gone. Get back up there. Thought maybe he fell in the trench. But I sure don't see him. And I don't see him in the safe zone. That's bizarre. We had to have had 2 to have a piglet to begin with. And yet, it's the mystery of the missing pig. Alright, well, let's give up on that, because that's really not all that important. We got 2 now. We do need to feed them, but we're not going to be in the area, so we need to repair before we leave. And let's take a look and see if we got an idea what time of day it is. About halfway through the day. I guess we don't need to know where our corpse was. Get rid of that. And we can head for the... Yeah, I'll put this away. I'm going to go ahead and grab that rest of that wood. Once we get rid of that, we're underweight. See if we can sail over to the other side. No stars, so let's stick with... Now, everybody always says your boat doesn't move once you jump off, but I swear the raft is further out to sea than when we were here, when we left it. Oh, that is not what I wanted to do. I meant to repair the crafting table. But that'll work. And let's repair the raft. And see if we can jump on. Yeah, I might as well go forward. Turn this puppy around. And let's keep eating. Oh, we're out of food? Jeez. Talk about unprepared. Well, we got the raft turned around. Guess we'll get off right here and go back and get food. That was a waste of time. Sorry about that, folks. Yes, we could grab those, but I would really like to have high protein. I thought we had a bunch of... Maybe I made that mistake again. Oh, that was almost bad. No? Alright, it's gonna have to cook up a bunch of this, and I guess we'll head out tomorrow. We'll just go to bed early and call it a day, and get the next day started. Pretty soon we're going to be able to make recipes that give us better health. And when we do, we're going to want a lot of raw boar meat. So don't want to cook up too much, but this stack's probably not a bad idea. It'll take several days of mining to get enough copper, and then we'll have to go along the shore of the Black Forest to get 10. Alright, just these 2 pieces left. That should be... Oh, we got left one on the floor there. Should be plenty of wood to put a roof on that tower. And then that copper vein was real close to that tower, so we should be in pretty good shape once we sail across that little gap. Which we could probably swim it, but we might not be able to swim it as well. When we're carrying a bunch of ore. Then I just don't want to risk it. Like I said, we are going to need lots and lots of boar meat. And we're probably also going to need neck meat. Because there's a nice recipe with boar and neck meat. Looks like we're at low tide because it's easier to jump to the raft. And away we go. If we don't get stuck on the beached on the sand, that is. And we're sailing into the wind, which is... I want to rearrange this. I got used to having my stamina food as the last thing. When I was playing last week. It is so nice to be back on a machine with good graphics. A laptop, I have to run the bare minimum laptop graphics. Had more deaths on that playthrough. And maybe part of it's timing wise, that the graphics didn't keep up and I didn't know when to time my parries, but I've either been really lucky on this one with the number of deaths that we've had, because I think there's only been 2 or 3, or I was just terrible on that other machine. I don't know. Died so many times. Oh, there we got the wind. Let's speed this up. Gonna scroll back out so I can see around that sail. And let's aim for that gap in the rocks up there. So we're only going across that little gap of water right there. But there were so many rocks. I don't know. I'm trying to decide. As soon as we get a little bit of copper and a little bit of tin, we'll start making brass. We can have brass nails, and we can make a far better craft than this raft. These rafts are so crude. Our first real boat, such a big improvement. Did we go check out that house over there? Something tells me we did. And it wasn't worth the trip. Alright, let's park this right here. Get past that rock. And try to start spinning around. Close enough. Bring the sail up, we'll leave it there. Now, that tower is close by, right? Yeah, I wish I could remember more about where we were. Did we mark it on the map? That would have been really smart. Oh, we're not even across the right place yet. Oh my gosh. I apologize, folks. I feel like I'm letting you down with this efficiency. But this is completely unscripted. I haven't played through on this world before, so I do keep making a lot of mistakes. Alright. But they're natural mistakes, if that makes any sense. I'm not sure it makes sense to me. Oh, I wish I had my fishing pole. That is a big old pike. This would be a good little fishing hole right here. So the steering's reversed if you're going in reverse. And I can't steer in reverse because it messes with my head. Now, it may feel funny that we went to all the trouble to put a defense around that base, and we're not going to be there for a while. We're going to be over here in the Black Forest. We even may move our main base to the Black Forest. But it is a real time consuming to move the base. You got to pack all that stuff up, make multiple trips to get it there. Once we have portals, it'll be different. Alright, I am doing this wrong. We want to go that way? I do believe. And let's lower the sail and pick up some speed. What do you say? Should have paid more attention to the map when we were starting out. And I do believe we did check out that house. It was empty. We may have spent the night there even. Don't like being on the raft, but when we get an actual boat, that is kind of enjoyable to sail. Much more enjoyable than this raft ride. And the boat, we can get up a lot better speed. In fact, I think this speed is about the slowest the boat goes. When we get up here, let's reverse this. And back in, so that when it's time to go, it's easier to get out. A lot of fish here, but those are troll fish, and you have to have the specialized black forest bait for trollfish, which you can make that bait from combining items out of the black forest with standard bait. In fact, I think that's the only way you get it. You have to purchase bait from the vendor. We don't know where he is yet. Where is that tower? Oh, we want that. I hope that's a Greydwarf and not a bear. Would love to avoid any bear contact right now. They are such a pain. Here we go. This is where we were, and we needed a roof. And I think what we'll do is we'll just put a roof and a bed here, and we'll stay here. Until, yeah, there's our bed. Must be under a roof, so let's go put the roof on. We'll just stay here until it is time to take home the ore. Okay, we need a roof over the bed, and we need a roof over the workbench. Let's do 26, and let's put it all the way up. Get a snapping point, that's that, right there. That may cover us. So let's see, is that snapping in the right place? Let's switch it. to auto. And top one will work. We can go out too. Let's go ahead and see about putting on the bridge. Got a roof just in time, almost just in time. And will this match up? Perfect. So it's reinforced. And we need, what do I want? I want a bridge. That's what I was going to do. I don't know. I don't think it does anything structurally, I just like the looks of it. Let's go ahead and extend the floor out. And let's create just a whole second level here. Yeah, I think that roof's about right. Can't put a floor over that because of the stairs. Or ladder. Those aren't stairs. Alright. So we're set. The only other thing we could maybe upgrade this so that we can repair. Let's go to sleep and start in the morning. It'll be great when we have portals and we can jump back to our home base. Now that copper vein, I guess I didn't mark it on my map. I should have done that. But thought it was right here. So what we're going to do is start digging down, and once we start digging, we'll get the attention of the whole forest. But we want to outline this copper vein and try to get underneath it. Now if there's a troll nearby, this will get his attention and he'll come looking for us. So what I'd love to do is get a hole deep enough that he can't get down to us. There's our edge. And there's our friends showing. I think that's what they used to call the welcome wagon. Welcome to the neighborhood. I don't think they like new neighbors. So one of the things we can do is we can get a level piece of ground here. We can kind of discourage them if we put down a fire, because they tend to stay away from the fire. Now they'll still come climbing down and around, but once we get a trench all the way around this copper, it's the same as the trench that we just built around home base. Let's be sure and remember to eat. Want to dig as far as it'll let us. We can only dig so far below the original elevation of the land. I think about 8 meters is how far down you can dig. Not sure. You know, because once you go that far, you can't dig anymore. That's supposed to be the axe, sorry. Get that tree out of our way. And I think, let's see. Don't have quite enough wood. What I'd like to do is carve out a flat spot and set up. I may have waited too long. See if we can put in a workbench for repairs. Alright, maybe, oh, there it is. Okay. Now it's going to need a roof. And let's get that to the top snapping point. Now we can just repair and continue. I think we can get a little deeper now. Yeah, there we go. Alright, so how far back? May have to move that workbench eventually. I don't know, can we do it from here? No, too far. Yeah, we can't get close enough to it. Let's go, and then we can. Alright. That'll work. Pick's not very good for clearing those bushes. Definitely going to improve those pickaxe skills. Boy, that was a big rock. Look at that. Get out of the way. So this is probably going to be the worst video in that almost nothing happens except for we're digging and we're digging and we're digging. The effort's worth it because so many wonderful things come from having this copper ore. And we broke the pickaxe. And as soon as we get around this, we'll get the trench all the way around. We'll start clearing the ore itself. But it's really good to know where the ore is. Geez, that's a big rock. Still in our way. Notice we're sheltered. If we put a fire here, we could renew our rested bonus. Which I think we may want to do, because we're about to run out. I think we got enough wood. Let's go ahead and do that. So this will serve dual purpose. It'll deter the Greydwarfs, because they don't like to be around it. And we'll get our rested bonus back. Now, even though we're completely under, we still want to make sure we have a gap between the copper and the dirt. One, because that keeps the Greydwarfs from coming at us at night. It slows them down. They're still going to come at us. They'll eventually fall in the pit with us. And then once we start digging into the copper, I like to do it from the top down. I don't know if it's the best way, but I feel like it's more efficient. Especially because this isn't solid copper. There's a lot of dirt, rock mixed in with it, so when we start digging it out, it's nice to know where the dirt is. We can clear those dirt faster from the bottom than we can if we have to dig down to the bottom first. Now we can't pick anything up, so we've probably got too many rocks on us. And we've hit our weight limit. Which is 300 stone. So we could start making rock piles. Yeah. That's going to happen, and it's going to get even worse at night. At night there'll be dozens of Greydwarfs trying to get to us. Well, if we wanted more wood, now's our chance. Go away, you're bothering me, kid. Alright, I want to be able to pick up that wood when I cut it down, that tree down. So I want to make some room here for rock piles. And let's just make some rock piles. Get rid of some of this loose rock that we've gathered up. Okay, now we can cut this tree down. Nope, not from there. Now we're doing some damage. Oh, that's a pine, so we'll get some core wood out of that, but it's not going to fall down here. We got a pine cone. We can plant pine trees now back in the meadows. Maybe we should have titled this episode, Can You Dig It? Because, oh, it's all we've been doing. The other nice thing about a boat versus the raft is the boat has built-in storage, And I don't think we can even put any storage on the raft. Hey, we've made it all the way around. Just got to get through here. Steep incline. Can't even stand there. All right, let's get on top. So I try to start at the highest place and then just chip away at it. And it's going to break away in chunks. And you want to see the lay of the chunks. Once you get to the edges, it gets more important. I've heard, never tested, that you do more damage if you strike from the top. Where's our workbench? Over here? So I always try to get on top of it and hit down. It's not always possible, and sometimes it's not worth the effort, but when I can, that's what I like to do. So here you can see there's dirt versus the actual copper ore on the inside of this. Now that we have the trench all the way around, I don't think I'm going to bother with stopping for night. We'll just keep going. The Greydwarfs will try to interrupt us, but if we can stand down here, it makes it harder for them to hit us when they throw their rocks. So 3.2, 4.3, that's the kind of damage we're seeing. Hit the right key here, bud. Don't use the Q, use the W. 4.0, 5.8. It's a little higher. But having this copper and mixing it, well, having copper will unlock certain things for us. Mixing it with tin and making bronze unlocks even more stuff for us. Now when it gets dark, I just hit whatever I can because it gets so hard to see. And I just hope I don't mess it up. Sometimes you're going to end up with pieces of the copper vein floating up in the air where you can't get to it. And then you have to build scaffolding. We'll show you that when we get to it. Once we get to that, that part. Beginning to wonder if my throat's ever going to clear up again, or I'm always going to have this frog in it. I still haven't messed around with the YouTube controls much, but it looks like we had one visitor. I didn't see him come in or leave, but it says we had one. I'm amazed anybody's watching, and I'm not surprised that they didn't stick with us on this one. It's not nearly as much fun as doing the dungeon crawl in the burial chamber was. That I had a blast on. Especially because we were a little underpowered for being there. Makes it more challenging, more exciting. Gets my heart pumping. I can't tell unless I point at it. Like, okay, I'm pointing at dirt. Now I'm pointing at the copper vein. Can't tell what's what when it gets dark like this. And I can't see where to jump down. I don't want to jump down and fall to my death. And here come the night visitors. Lots of them. Sometimes just for the fun of it, there's no reason to. I like to set them on fire. You won't defeat my fire with your heal spell. At least not a 1-star. Or no star. Take about 3 Valheim days, 3 or 4, to fully clear a copper mine. And you think we'll need 2 or 3 copper mines. Let's eat, drink, and be merry. You'll need 2 or 3 copper mines if you plan on doing the entire bronze armor set and the tools that go with it. There's our brute friend. Wonder what he's trying to hit. He sure seems to think there's something there worth swinging at. He's dead. Somebody's able to hit us, though. 1 star. I blocked you. Now, next time we jump down, we gotta remember he's down there. But the fires in the trench seem to disorient him, and they're not nearly as dangerous as if you just meet him out on the forest floor. Here we go. Go for the highest point. It's hard to do that at night because you can't see where you are. Now we got 2 1-stars. Don't really want to take this edge off right here because now they can hit us with rocks. And down we go. Oh, not all the way though, so that's okay. Mr. Brute. I just get out and fall back in the next hole. That's stupid. Get my stamina back. Climb up here. Come on. Don't go too far. I think we should be able to mine right here without too much trouble. Oh, you guys are too easy targets. Especially when you want to just stand there and stay inside your heal spell. Now you're easier because you don't get healed. Well, just don't go away mad. Just go away. Guess we should go down here and repair. And need to find a spot where we could put down a I sure don't want to pull you down on me. I'd like to do a chest, and we don't have the wood. Okay. We don't need one. But I'd like to pick up this stuff and start putting it in a chest. Which is what we'll do eventually. Can I reach it? Yes. So now we're getting to the point where we need scaffolding because it created that big gap that we fall into. Alright, you wait right there and we'll see if we can't entertain you. Listen to that guy burn. Burn. Burn them all. Very old movie quote that nobody knows anymore. That's what happens when you get old. Nobody remembers your movie quotes. That's usually an indication that morning isn't far. World saves usually right before morning. And then when morning comes, all the dwarves, the Greydwarfs that come out at night, see, there's where we're going to need scaffolding. All the Greydwarfs that come out at night go home. Which is really nice. Stay there. Oh, come on. I keep hitting Q and not paying attention to which key I'm... I hit Q instead of W. There we go. Now we get some light, we can tell where we are. They break at such funny angles you can't stand on them. So I feel lucky that we're able to stand on this one. And we can probably get a big chunk of that one right here. Nice. There's our one-star buddy. Which, how much wood we got? We got 7. He'll give us enough wood that we can make a chest. So, thanks for the help. Let's get rid of, there's another one. Let's get rid of some of these rocks we're carrying around. Now we've got 9 wood. I don't know. Is the chest 8 or 10? Well, if it's 10, you'll help out. Alright, now let's go see where we want to put that chest. I wouldn't mind putting it close to that fire. Oh, right where you're standing. Alright, just run away. Come back. There we go. Now we got plenty of wood. Alright. Find a spot that this'll stay. Right there, work. Come on, what's wrong? No stamina? God, you're no fun at all. 17 rocks, snuff. Yes, that puts us underweight. Our stamina comes back. Put our chest down. And we can start dropping this stuff in. Let's see how much more of that ore we can gather up. Yeah, I guess a lot of it's still up top. Hey, we got a new trophy. Look at that. That doesn't take up much weight. Neither does that. We definitely want to keep those guys. And we'll wait till we get more rocks. No, we won't. Let's get rid of it. We can pick up more stuff. Oh, I want it up there. There we go. Let's see if we can get this piece. Very good. Can we stand on that and get this piece? Nice. Let's get back up there. I'm guessing by that crease right there that this is all one piece, but which means I'm going to fall when I break this. Not too bad. That purple over there, maybe we broke one of those up before, but that's a Greydwarf spawner. And that's where the Greydwarfs will originate from. Usually 3 at a time. And once you kill one of them, a few seconds later, and it varies like 10 to 30 seconds. 1 to 30, something, I don't know. Anyway, later, a Greydwarf will spawn again to replace the one you killed. And they tend to, where it feels like, it constantly increases the difficulty as the more you kill. So if you stand by it and kill the Greydwarfs long enough, you probably end up with 3 brutes. And without better armor and weapons, we're not ready for that. Once we can take some of this copper back and mine it. And I'm starting to rethink, maybe we'll just bring the rock, and we don't even need the rock, we just need the Surtling cores here, rather than trying to take all of the stuff there. This breaking this piece is going to leave a piece up there. If we can even stand here long enough to break this. Yeah. So now we got that piece up there. I really don't like having to build scaffolding. It's just extra effort. But it happens, and it's not unusual that we need to do it. If you do, don't sweat it. If you can, work from the top down and go after the highest pieces. We're not eating. And I say we in the royal sense. I'm not eating. Because I'm by no means royalty. Though I guess we could say Conrad is. Conrad was once a Viking warlord. We have no idea. We can make him whatever we want. This is our game. I like the way when you break up this ore that's underground, it bubbles up to the top and comes out on the ground above it. Like that. Wait, that's our ramp up. We don't want to destroy that yet. So, since the highest part here is dirt, we're not going to touch that. We'll come back for that later. Let's pick up some more of this and start putting it in the chest. Well, looks like this part's clear, well, as long as we're here. I don't know why you can't use the workbench from the side of it, but it doesn't seem to work. I've never seen it happen with copper, but there's other resources that you'll mine, and once you dig it all out, you can dig underneath it. You break it from the top and it all breaks at once, and you don't have to spend all this time breaking all the pieces. We picked up too much. Let's drop these rocks. We can probably pick up another couple of ores, and let's go put it in the chest. I'll have to look to see if I can break this up. At a minimum, we should probably make this be one video for digging the base defense and one for the mining aspect. This is a lot of digging, and that's too much to watch at one time. Okay, let's take out this piece. There we go. I like the way that broke. And then we'll want to go up here. And it looks like this edge piece will come off. Now, that corner piece scares me, the one that the log's on. Not sure how we're going to get to it. Can I stand right here? I was afraid I was going to slide off. That may be 2 pieces. I'm hoping that fall all goes. Well, not that. There, that's what I wanted. Now we can take off this piece. And this one. I would like that log to fall into our pit. Without crushing me. Wow, that did a lot of damage. And our health was getting low because our food was out, so that was almost bad. Alright, let's go to here, and maybe that whole piece will break. That's a big piece. And that corner. Nice. And then this edge. Oh, look at that. Little tiny sliver. And I think that this is all one piece. And then all that dirt, we're going to attack that from the bottom because we can clear it faster. You can do it, you know, in just a couple of hits, but if you start at the top, it takes forever to dig to the bottom. There we go. That worked. And then that one. And let's jump over here. Get this one. And let's see if we can make that jump. That's one piece. We stand here. Okay. Can we reach this? Now let's see if we can take this log out. I think half of it's going to fall up and out. But we got that half. Give us some lumber. And there's a Stagbreaker. That's a nice weapon to have when we go through the burial chambers, because we can use it to attack through doors and walls. It's an AoE effect, and that AoE effect goes right through the wall. Really handy when we leave this biome and go to the next one. Let's see if we can make stairs up here. And then we can take out these 2 lower pieces. Yeah. Another day, 2 at the most, and we will have this copper cleared. We'll take the raft back, we'll get our circling cores, and come over here and smelt it from here. That'll be easier than going back and forth on the raft. We're definitely going to fall when we break this one. Not too far though. Jump back up here and break this one. Let's see. Want to look at getting over here. Alright. Gonna get the boogeyman to come out again here now. Getting to be nighttime. Greydwarfs are gonna come out of the woodwork. Let's go ahead and take this edge off. Oh, that's hard on the knuckles. We should stop and get our rested bonus. And there's no roof over the fire. So, let's make one. Top, twist it around so it's oriented properly. Might as well protect the fire from rain. Extend this out so that we can get shelter. Come on. Alright, shelter. Hopefully we don't get smoked out. Get that rested bonus so that we can get our stamina back quicker. Speaking of which, we might as well go ahead and eat. Yeah. Didn't put that in quite the right place, but we can take care of that. Thought there was copper, yeah, over here. Need something flat to stand on. I'm standing on copper. That's copper. Grey dwarves are back. And they're pelting us with rocks. So let's come over here. And let's clear this area. And I'm just going to start clearing out through here. Can't get to him. Well, more than one way to stick in a cat. Hold still. There we go. Where was that trench we were digging? Right here. Since we have that moat all the way around the copper, we can work through the night. We don't have to worry too much. There are not that many get in here to interrupt us, which is kind of nice. The only problem is you can't see what you're doing at night. That's rock. Oh no, that's copper. That's good. Ah, your poison breath does not reach me. You cannot hurt me. The camera angle. That's kind of fun watching them run around up there and not be able to touch me. I'm just going to start carving this up into pieces. Yeah. Oh, I'm gonna really enjoy having uh, a stronger pick when we can make bronze tools. Yeah, as long as we're here, we might as well take that out. Oh, they're noisy, aren't they? Are you up there? You're up there. I don't have to worry about you. Be glad when daytime comes so I can see what I'm doing again. Got rid of you and the bush. That's the top, so we don't want to go that way. We want to go this way. You could tell the world save was happening. We got a little lag there. Oh, come on. Don't have time for your shenanigans. Of course, rain. Doesn't hurt anything, but just slows down our stamina regen. No, it makes this all take longer. It's just a pain in the... You know what? And we don't feel rested anymore. Well, we can at least go get our rested buff. Get rid of some of this. Oh, it's getting hard to get up that hill. That's a really steep incline. Make some steps up. Guess we could eat. That'll give us a little more stamina. Jump up here. Get our rested buff. Put away the ore we've got. Probably make these into rock piles if we've got some open space, which we should have. That's a pretty good haul. We're gonna have looks like 120 ore, maybe more. That's a good haul. This is a good vein. And now we go sharpen our tools. let's just take this out. I don't think we've got any copper ore to worry about. There's some. Boy, that incline's amazing how steep that, how quickly that ground drops off. So now that it's light, you can see why we're digging this dirt from the bottom instead of the top. 3-4 hits and you're through, versus from the top you'd have to dig all the way down. It's not 3 or 4 hits, believe me. Let that stamina regen. Boy, that cold buff's a pain. Cold. Wet. The wet buff. You don't want to fight with the wet buff. Well, there's one occasion. One of the bosses. Major attack is fire. And having the wet buff during his attacks is about the only time you want to have a wet debuff. The rest of the time you don't want to fight with the wet debuff. Because it just slows down that stamina regen. And you get yourself killed waiting to take a swing at your opponent. You can. I'm not saying you would. You might fight much smarter than I do. Hopefully you do. So just trying to smooth off this hillside so I can see if there's any copper left in this hill that we're able to mine. I don't know if the world, you know, generates it below what we see. Have no idea. Don't know why it would. Oh, got rid of that bush with a pickaxe. So, looks like we're almost done with this copper mine. The sad part is we're going to need 2 or 3 more before we're done. So, copper is unique among the metals that you'll dig for, in that we really don't make any armor and very few weapons from copper. But what we do make is bronze by combining copper and tin. And you'll make a lot of tools out of bronze. But since it takes 2 copper to every 1 tin, you've got to mine 3 times the minerals. 2 copper, 1 tin, 3. 3 times the amount of minerals. I guess that's, yeah, that's 3 times. As you would if you were doing a different set of armor. So, the copper grind, is that copper? It doesn't say copper, that's just rock. The copper grind's a little heavier. Now, some minerals are used more than copper is. And are used throughout the game, late game. So you end up mining a lot of it also. But you're still able to make its base armor set, I guess you'd call it. Like each each biome has 1 to 2 armor sets. The Black Forest, for instance, has the bronze armor set. That's the one we're currently working towards. And it also has the bear armor set, which we may or may not make, but probably not going to use because I'm just not a fan of it. We may or may not make the bronze armor set because I prefer the troll armor set for its movement bonus. It depends on where we end up with foods. Because once we start getting the higher tier Black Forest tier foods, then a fully upgraded troll armor won't provide us the same armor class, but it gives us a movement bonus. Not a movement bonus, a non-movement penalty. The bronze armor has a 10% movement penalty on it, and you really feel it. You really know that you've been slowed down. Alright, do we have 50 stone? Yes, so let's just drop that off here. And we can get the last of that copper armor. Copper, not armor, just copper. Pick up that stone. And we're all done with this copper vein, copper mine, however you want to call it. And we got just short of 120 copper. That's a good run. Take that any day. Let's get a way out of here. Snap to the top. Yeah, get a little closer. And we'll go right there. There we go. There we go. Pick up all the stuff that got dropped outside. A lot of that is the nighttime guys we killed. There's a little more copper. That's nice. That's going to get us that full 120. Maybe a little over. And blueberries. Like blueberries. They're handy for one of the recipes that we're just about ready to get. So we'll really like having those. In fact, I know where they are because I'm going to come back and pick some more later. So let's drop a mark right here and BB for blueberry. And Greydwarf, leave me alone. I'm mapping things. I'm busy right now. How rude of you to interrupt me. Okay, where'd the tower go? Tower. Who's got the tower? You'd think you couldn't miss it. There it is. Right? Wrong? There it is. I'm sure we checked this chest out already. Nope. Yep, we put stuff in it. Take it all. No, I don't want that. But I'll take the bear hide. And we would definitely want these. And we want to go put that back. Because we can't. Well, it doesn't matter. We're not teleporting anyway. Alright. Let's go put this stuff. Well, let's at least put it in the tower at a minimum. Alright, that's our first copper mine. I'm going to stop this one here. We're going to get the raft and go get the circling cores that we have. And we'll just smelt the ore over here. Because I got a feeling we're going to be in this forest for a minute. Could turn this into a decent little cottage. It could work. Secondary base. Alright. Thanks for watching. I'm Grandpa Bud. We're playing Valheim. Y'all have a good one.